Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Tarot and Tea with Mrs. B. I'm Mrs. B, and today we're going to do the February 2020 pick-a-card predictions. So I hope you'll join me with an open mind, an open heart, and a nice cup of tea, like so. And keep it high vibing. Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Tarot and Tea with Mrs. B. I'm Mrs. B, and what we have here is a pick-a-card reading. I have this lovely little koala mug that the Psycho Ducky from Australia sent me. I am drinking Raspberry Zinger Celestial Seasonings Herbal Tea. I'm not sponsored, but I'm gonna have a taste of this tea right quick. I figured February, loving feelings, all that good stuff. So Raspberry Zinger seemed appropriate. So anyway, what we have here is a pick-a-card reading. So, for those of you who are not familiar with pick-a-card readings, each pile, we've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4, and we've got charms that correspond to each pile. So you pick the pile that you feel most drawn to, and then you can, if you want to listen to all of them, that's great. If not, you can go to the comments section where I will post timestamps in the comments so that you can go directly to whichever pile you want to hear about. So, I've got several different cards. I've got tarot cards, oracle cards, Bob Ross playing cards, all in these decks. So without further ado, let's get into our reading. How about that? Hello, Group 1. So, Group 1, we have the mechanical wheel, or it's got the cogs in it, a gear, if you want to call it a gear. But basically, this has to do with things going as planned. Everything is very systematic, everything is very structured, and that's what all these cogs are about. And you have to have everything in place for the machine to work properly. If something's missing, or if there's too much of something, then it gets all gummed up in the works and things don't work right. And so it's very important to you to have everything go as planned, and it's easy to get kind of overwhelmed and frustrated when things don't go as planned. So, but this is about structure and taking control of the situation, and basically making the machine work. Whatever the machine in your life is, you're focused on making it work. So without further ado, let's get into these cards. So we have your 3 tarot cards. Okay, so you've got the King of Swords, you got 2 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles. So you may be dealing with things moving very quickly. You may be dealing with some justice type issues. You may be dealing with a court case. You may be dealing with someone who you may not always agree with what they have to say, but you know they're going to be fair and they're going to listen to both sides of whatever the story is. And so this card always reminds me of King Solomon from the Bible. Very level-headed, willing to look at both sides of the situation and then decide a course of action. This is an authority person right here. Like I said, it could be a judge, it could be a boss, it could be your dad, but the person is very fair and very level-headed. And you've got the 2 of Cups, which has to do with a partnership. And so this has to do with This could be a love thing. It could be a love interest. It could be a romantic relationship. A lot of times it has to do with matters of the heart. Since it is the Two of Cups, it does have to do with emotional ties. And so you may be receiving an invitation of some sort. You may be looking at starting a new job, and this job is going to be something that's very heartfelt for you. It might be something in the helping professions. It might be, something that you feel like you're meant to do, that you really enjoy doing, makes you feel good, that kind of thing. But this has to do with some type of partnership. You might be getting married. But these are things that are on your mind for February. And then you got the Five of Pentacles. You may be having some financial difficulties, and so it's very important for you to try to get your finances in order. Don't fight with these folks over money. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. You do not need to let money issues get in the way of a happy, healthy relationship. You don't need to let money issues get in the way of being level-headed. Okay, don't let material things cloud your vision here. Okay. Then we've got the lunar eclipse having to do with change. But the thing about the lunar eclipse is you may not always see everything that's at play. You may not see everything. I'm gonna get a little bit more guidance from the Black Moon astrology. So we've got lunar eclipse and change. 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And that is attributed to Buddha. 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. A lunar eclipse takes place when the earth is directly aligned between the sun and the moon. The earth blocks out the sun's light, causing the moon to be in the earth's shadow. This can only happen during a full moon, and while a solar eclipse lasts only for minutes, the lunar eclipse lasts for hours. Ancient peoples were extremely frightened by eclipses because they believed the great serpent was taking bites out of the sun and the moon. Eclipses can bring on times which seem shadowy and disordered, but they are not necessarily bad and should not be viewed as such. We are meant to be thrown off balance to make necessary changes. It is a time of seeing the light and focusing on something you have either put off or didn't exactly notice was coming up. When the lunar eclipse card presents itself in a reading, dramatic changes are in store. Such changes will likely be unexpected ones, the kind that might seem hard or will take some special effort on your part. This will not be a gradual, easy, barely noticed transformation. Your world may be rattled somewhat. It will seem more like a revolution. Do not be alarmed, however, because this altering of your life is essential in getting you where you need to be. We are all here to share our gifts and lead others to theirs. It is never an easy path. Any number of things might happen: the ending or beginning of a transformative relationship, like I mentioned before, a change in life's path or job, or a change in where you live. Whatever it may be, it will be abrupt. Lunar eclipses herald times of a new way of looking at things. That is why they can even bring on changes in eyeglass or contact lens prescriptions, or if you're lucky, a marked improvement in your eyesight. The moon also has a connection to the brain. Thus, you may find yourself more in tune with unseen energies or experience moments of revelation. Whatever the issue, it has been brewing for a while and things are about to bubble over. It could be a partner, a would-be partner who wishes to take a relationship to a new level. What do we talk about? Relationships. Since the moon symbolizes our emotions, you probably already sense what this change should be and will not be completely surprised by it, but the force and dramatic nature of the shift may be unexpected. Expect to be thrown off balance. If the situation is something you have taken for granted and it collapses, then you will need to make a new start. In any event, you should start to see these effects within the next 6 weeks and expect for an outcome to be completed within 6 months. This card also indicates cycles, and whatever seems lost at this time, you can be assured will return to you, perhaps in a different form, but most certainly better. So this corresponds to the Five of Cups. We already had the Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups has to do with the same type of thing as far as changes. But the main thing that we're looking at is inevitable change, bringing in the new, You may have some old memories and dissolution. So things that aren't meant for you are going to be dissolving, so to speak. All right. Next, we have Lunasa. Lunasa. That is a fairy festival. It has to do with harvest. It's the first harvest, usually around the 1st of August. And so it has to do with a sense of playfulness, games, not taking things too seriously. It's like that first little celebration when you get your first, if you were growing, any type of crops, corn, tomatoes, whatever. That first little celebration of, hey, we grew something. It's here. We harvested, and now it's time to partay. So it's time to reap the benefits of the things that you have put in motion. And so that's what's coming about in February for you. Your hard work is paying off. Also having to do with the relationships. You've got the first quarter moon. Your commitment is being tested. And so what I'm seeing is when you've got these massive changes going on, you've got money issues, you got this relationship that's going to the next level, whatever that may be. You may have some legal issues, but all of that and your difficulty with letting go and bending a little bit when it comes to things disrupting your flow. Your commitment's being tested. And so that being said, if you're not fully committed to something, it might not work out for you. But believe me, everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen to get you to where you need to be. Okay? And then we've got Witchling's protection. It says, create sacred space to keep uninvited energy out. Create sacred space to keep uninvited energy out. So you want to protect your assets. You want to protect your money, protect your passwords, your personal information, things like that, because it's very important to protect these things. It's important to protect your home, your family, anything important to you. And so I think with this energy, with this commitment being tested, you're wanting to preserve your relationships and you're wanting to preserve what you already have going for you. And so if that means doing what you can to protect that, whether that's reinforcing the positives in your relationship, whether that's setting up cameras in your house to, I don't know, for surveillance, if you feel like your home may be threatened, lock your doors, stuff like that. Locking doors and things like that keeps people honest, in my opinion. But the main thing is create a sacred space. Your home is your sacred space in a way. Your car may be your sacred space, but it basically keeps anything that you don't want out of that space. And so you avoid a lot of drama that way. Okay, and then we've got freedom. And so I love this card. I think it's beautiful. So with freedom, you are free to choose who to be and how to use your energy. Untangle yourself from whatever holds you down. Fly, let yourself be free. Express your highest good. You are free to choose life. So basically what it's saying is you have a freedom of choice in whatever it is you want to do. Sometimes it may not feel like it, but when you reinforce these positive relationships, even during times of change, even during financial difficulties, even during legal issues. Who knows? The good times, the trying times, when your commitment's being tested and you're just wanting so much to protect what you have, your home, your family, and all the things that are important to you. It's important that you also have that freedom. You have your freedom of choice. You can choose whatever you want to do, whatever path you want to take. And part of being in a healthy, loving relationship is being free and allowing your partner to be free. It's not this issue of control where you get back to this when you get so bogged down with trying to be in control, you lose some of this freedom. So if you bend a little bit, put a little space around it, that's where the freedom is, okay? And last but not least, we have Bob Ross. It's the King of Cups, which is the same thing as the King of Hearts, which is the same thing as the King of Cups. And so that's, that may be someone in your life who is like a father figure or an authority figure, but basically this person is very emotionally supportive. They're very friendly, very kind, and they put their heart into everything that they do. And this says, you have unlimited power here. You can do that. It says, you have unlimited power here. You can do that. You can do anything on this canvas, anything. And that goes back to this freedom here. You can do anything. Absolutely anything. You have unlimited power. And so I think that's a good thing to remember, especially when it comes to emotions. You have unlimited power over your emotions. Sometimes it may not feel like it, but you really do. And every time, for example, if you're angry, every time you choose to, instead of having an anger outburst, instead of yelling at somebody, cursing somebody out, breaking stuff, whatever you do when you're angry, instead of reacting in anger, maybe try to calm yourself down. And it gets easier each time you do it. But when you try to calm yourself down and look at it from a different perspective, it actually gets easier to do that, and you don't react as readily the next time you get upset or the next time something throws you off. So for February, it looks like you guys are, your relationships are going to be tested, but I think you got this. I think you really got this. You just, remember, protect what's important to you, be that relationships, be that money, whatever. Don't let material things get in the way of the good stuff, okay? All right, so have a happy February, guys. Bye. Hi, Group 2. So, Group 2, February 2020. Can you believe it's already February? Oh my gosh. So, here is your February 2020 prediction. So, we've got this little charm here. And this little charm, it says, Buena suerte. Right? So, cute little elephant charm, right? And then on the other side, can you see it? It says buena suerte, which means good luck in Spanish. So already I have a great feeling about this month for you guys. Buena suerte, good luck. All right, so got 8 of Wands. You've got 8 of Swords, a lot of 8s already. And then you've got the Hanged Man, which is the 12th card in the Major Arcana. All right, so already I'm seeing communication. Communication might be a little bit off. And also it might feel like things are kind of up in the air and you're waiting for something to happen. hope, you've got all these hopes and dreams for things that you want to happen, and it's just like, oh my goodness, why do I have to wait? Oh my goodness. So it's easy to feel impatient, and it's almost like you're waiting to hear from somebody and the message is not getting through, or they aren't communicating with you, or just like, oh my goodness, just hurry up and tell me, did I win the lottery or not? Dang, Lord have mercy. Some of you might be waiting to hear back from a job, waiting on background checks or whatever, or waiting on them to review your application and all that good stuff. You might be waiting on someone to get back to you about a car or a house, something that you've applied for and you're trying to get, and you're just waiting for some kind of response. And it's just like, gee, come on, guys. I need to know so I can move forward with my life. So anyway, that's going to be incredibly frustrating. But sometimes if you can be at peace, imagine whatever it is you already want, whatever it is that you want, imagine that it's already here. We're just waiting on the present moment to catch up to it, okay? You're attracting it from the future to now, okay? I know that's a little quantum physics-ish, but anyway, if you can manufacture that feeling, have that feeling of what it's going to feel like to get that car, to get that house, to get that job, whatever it is that you're trying to get to, and whatever message you're waiting on. Imagine how it's going to feel when you get that, and imagine you already feel that way just by yourself, as if it's already here. Act as if it's already here, and it won't take nearly as long, or at least it won't seem like it's taking as long. Okay, and then you've got the Eight of Swords. Okay, so you feel like you're trapped. You feel like you're stuck, you're trapped, can't go anywhere, can't do anything. Oh my goodness, your hands are tied, you're blindfolded, and you got all these dang swords around you, blocking your every turn. But guess what? You're not trapped. You are really not trapped. You may feel like you're trapped. You may feel like you have limited options, but the truth is you do have options. And there is a path out of here. See? And so there is a way to get out of this yucky situation where you feel stuck. It may not be comfortable, it may not be something you like, but sometimes you have to get creative and try different avenues, but you will find your way out of this stuck situation. And then you'll be able to move forward with your life. The Hanged Man suggests that you're going to be in a situation that's not exactly great, not exactly comfortable, but you're getting a different perspective on life from it. You're learning from it. And yeah, you might have all sorts of troubles. It could be financial, it could be, the washing machine broke, it could be car trouble, it could be baby mama drama, whatever it may be. But you're like, well, I can't do anything about it now, so I might as well just accept it and just see what happens. And that's actually a very healthy approach to take. Just see what happens. Gain a little perspective. Try to look at the other person's perspective. And that might help you kind of reassess your current situation. And then when things finally come back around, you're going to feel on top of the world because you've already been through this lesson. You've already learned this lesson, and so you won't have to keep repeating this lesson. Because I feel like themes keep repeating in our lives, and these lessons keep coming, and they're going to keep coming and get harder and meaner until we figure out what the lesson is, learn that lesson, and apply it to our lives so we don't have to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Just my perspective. All right, and then you got the Grand Cross. That's cool. It looks like, it says provoker. It looks like crosshairs of a like on a video game or something. All right, so I'm gonna refer to the Black Moon astrology on this one. I'm still kind of new to this deck. But when you think about a provoker, you think about someone who instigates things and starts drama, starts things, but not necessarily in a bad way. You could just be, starting a new project. But I feel like this has kind of an antagonistic energy to it. So let's get a little more clarity. It says, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller said that. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. So the Grand Cross is an area of tension in the chart, thus becoming a great catalyst for movement and change. Sometimes you got to get pissed off at something in order to realize you don't like it and you got to change it. A rare astrological configuration, the Grand Cross, also called the Grand Square, occurs when 4 planets form a perfect cross in the skies. The planets are around 90 degrees from each other, meaning there are 4 planetary squares 90 degrees apart and 2 planetary oppositions 180 degrees apart. Squares in the astrological chart cause tension and restriction. Oppositions as well are seldom soft aspects. They come with the pressure to grow and and the will to exceed any limitations put in one's path. But the Grand Cross is the most rare and intense of all. In mythology, this alignment represents the 4 directions. It's a symbol of the 4 seasons, equinoxes, and solstices, as well as the cross-quarter days, indicating a period of time when your life may seem at cross purposes. Usually, when a Grand Cross occurs, it indicates a crisis. Yet, through this calamity will be the painful process of growth, then renewal, and eventually a greater foundation for happiness and success. Strangely, it is almost as if the planetary energies are in competition with each other. So you may feel like you're in competition with somebody. You may feel like this is a time of crisis. You may, going back to feeling stuck. This may be a rather exasperating time where you feel provoked and frustrated over booby traps that seem to have been set in your way. It's as if everything is working at cross purposes. You might feel like everything's working against you. You feel pulled in many directions. Such false leads and failed plans may leave you unable to produce concrete achievements. An area to look at when the Grand Cross card comes up is how you communicate. Are you communicating as well as you should? Are you abandoning a worthy project the minute it loses its shine in an effort to capture a larger, glossier prize? But more simply, in your effort to accomplish more, are you juggling balls in the air? Are you spinning your wheels? Do you notice as you juggle if you are stuck in the same spot that not much has been achieved? It's kind of like sitting in a rocking chair. You get a lot done, but you don't go anywhere. When this card represents itself in a reading, it suggests there are multiple talents you're able to access, as well as numerous paths you can take. Focus and organization are key. Until this matter phases out, expect resistance, since opposition is the main energy field of the Grand Cross. Once on track, the momentum toward the attainment of what you desire will be impossible to stop. It mainly has to do with the shifting of energy and switching into gear. In regards to relationships or love, they will have a fated quality. You will not want to let go of a person no matter how hard it gets. There will be sacrifice and compromise with this relationship, and it will be one where you may want to bump your head against the many walls that seem to fly up out of nowhere. You are being challenged. And if you do not weather it out and see what the future brings, you will likely always regret letting this relationship go. If the question is about business or career, know that it will happen, but it will be hard. You have to be willing to walk the miles. Diligence will be required. What is positive about the Grand Cross card is you're becoming more realistic and focused. You won't be attracted to so much by glitz and glitter, but looking more towards stability and long-lasting success. A good thing to remember is that it's best not to fight the hard lessons at this time. In fact, this is a period where you need to take stock of all that has brought you to this place. It is time to draw upon your own strength. In doing so, you will move from uncertainty into a place of peace and contentment. So this relates to the Nine of Wands. It's like you're almost to the end of this long, hard road. And you're tired, or you're gonna be, but you keep pushing forward, and you will eventually get to where you need to be. Key ideas are pressure, discipline, frustration, growth, defensiveness, competition, and victory. So, you know what they say, pressure makes diamonds, right? And so, yeah, you're going to have some pressure, but if you can weather the storm, you're going to do great things. This also makes me think of the Mercury retrograde, because that's coming up February 17th, and it lasts about 3 weeks. So get ready for that, because that seems like it might be affecting you pretty intensely as well. All right, so next we have the fairy heart. And so that has to do with peace, tranquility, groundedness, nurturing type of energy, very peaceful. So like I said, in the midst of all of this craziness going on, you are still able to maintain that sense of peace. And so that's a good card to get. Okay, so then you have the new moon in Aquarius. So you have new beginnings starting. And it's also Aquarius season. So that's coming up as well. It says bring love into the situation. No matter what you are dealing with, and like this card was saying, whatever relationship you're in, you're pretty much committed to it and you're not willing to let it go. You're willing to fight for it. And so this also has to do with dedication, and this has to do with bringing love into the situation. No matter what the situation is, when you bring love into it, it becomes so much better. It just blossoms, whatever it is. If you put some love into it, it just becomes more and more beautiful. It softens, and it's not so harsh. And so maybe, you know, if you are in opposition to somebody, approach them with love and see what happens. Approach them from a place of love and a place of empathy and compassion. And when you do that, I believe you will see positive results. Okay, and then you've got wish. The wish card. A wish motivates the heart's desire, keeping hope and faith alive. Remember when I said up here, if you can manufacture that feeling of getting what you want, it seems like it comes faster. And so this goes back to that wish card. You know, it motivates the heart's desire, keeping hope and faith alive. So that's what it's all about. Keeping that hope and faith alive, bringing love to the situation, knowing that you're going to come out the other side sparkling. This is just, you know, this is just a bumpy road. It might be a little bit difficult, but you're going to be at peace with it, which is fascinating to me. It's like, yeah, life happens, you know, got to deal with life on life's terms. But this wish card, yes, you have things that you're working toward and that you're hoping for, and you're having faith that these things will come to you at the right time. You got love. You got lots of love. That makes me happy. Let's see what the fairies say about love. I love that card. I think it's beautiful. Love each other unconditionally. Look deeply into each other's eyes and see the divine. See your mirror. Acknowledge the wisdom, beauty, and holiness in another. Love soothes, nourishes, and heals the receiver and the sender. See, when you bring love to the situation, it benefits both parties. Okay. And then last but not least, Bob Ross says, go out on a limb. That's where the fruit is. Sometimes you have to take a little risk, or a lot of risk, to get the most benefit. And this is the Ace of Spades, which is the same as the Ace of Swords. So you are letting your thoughts overrule your emotions at this time. Even though there's plenty of love all around, you're thinking in practical terms of how you're going to make things happen that need to happen. And you're not getting too caught up in the emotional side of it. Not, at least not at this time. It's a new beginning for you to approach it that way too. It's kind of like a mind over matter thing. If you don't mind, it don't matter. I'm sure you've heard that before. Alrighty, well that's February 2020 for group 2. I hope you guys have a great month. Thank you. Bye. Hello, group 3. So today we're going to be talking about your February 2020 predictions. And so you guys have the lucky hand charm, or the Buddhist hand, but I call it the lucky hand, the blessing hand. And so this has to do with blessings and luck. And so already I have a really good feeling about this month for you guys. All right. So you've got 9 of Wands. You've got the 2 of Swords. And you've got the Sun, which I feel like the Sun card needs to be turned around upright. That's what Spirit's telling me. You've got Pluto for transformation. You've got Samhain, same thing as Halloween. You've got the disseminating moon, says take time to breathe out. We've got the banishment card, meditation, and Bob Ross card. So I'm going to go over each of these with you. So right here we've got the 9 of Wands, and you see he's like the wounded warrior. See, he's wounded, but yet he's still got all these defenses up. So he's still trying to serve, honor, and protect, even though he's wounded himself. And so you may have had some past experiences that have you really wounded in a way. You may have some past traumatic events, some emotional stuff going on, emotional trauma. It could be physical. It could be any number of things. But you're healing from that, and you've got a lot to heal from, and that's why you're so guarded and so scared to let somebody in and to let somebody see you vulnerable. But the thing is, when you let your guard down and you show them your true self, and you are vulnerable, there's so much potential for such a lovely, fulfilling relationship. But you got to be willing to take that risk. And I understand if you're not ready to let these walls down just yet, because you're still hurting really, really, really bad. So I've got some really heavy, intense feelings of hurt. Like somebody's hurt you deep, real bad. But you've got to start letting that go. Start focusing on healing. Start focusing on positives. Start focusing on the things that you're trying to attract to you. And it will be easier to let these walls down. But right now you're not ready. And then you've got some decisions to make. And you have no clue which direction you want to go with this. But the truth of the matter is, whichever path you choose is the right one. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter, because either way you go, there's positives and negatives to both sides of it. And it's almost like that game Would You Rather, where both of them are great or both of them are awful. And it's like, which, but the thing is, either way, you're going to grow and learn from the experience. And it's going to get you to your higher self. So either path you choose is fine. Don't second guess it. Pick one and go for it, is what I'm being told. You've got new beginnings coming. There might be a birth of a child. It might be a new lover, a new experience, a new adventure, a new job. It could be marriage, but this child right here makes me think there's a new child in the picture some kind of way. You might be having a baby in February. You might be finding out that you're pregnant in February. Gentlemen, if you find out you're pregnant, let me know, because I want to know about that. It's a joke. Anyway, But yeah, positive, happy things are happening for you in February. And it has to do with this decision you're making here. And so you may have to let your guard down a bit in order to take that leap of faith and make that decision to make this happiness happen. And then you've got this transformation. I'm thinking about mid-month, this transformation is going to happen. You're going to, because all these things have taken place, you're going to just blossom. Like, wonderful things are coming your way. You are going to be able to handle situations that you didn't think you could handle before. You're going to have this confidence and this joy that you thought wasn't possible. And like, a picture of you at the end of the month is going to look very different from the picture of you in the beginning of the month. I don't know if you're changing your hair color, if you're watching your diet, if you're exercising, whatever, but you're gonna glow up for real. I like that phrase, glow up. But that's what you're doing. Yes, you are glowing up, and it might be intense to go through that change. I mean, you're gonna feel like the werewolf going through the change at the full moon. It's just gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is so painful and uncomfortable, and breaking out of your shell. But it's gonna be awesome once you get there. You're gonna be like, finally, I can be my true self. I can let go of this shenanigans from the past. I can move forward. Yes. So yes, awesome things are happening for you, Group 3. I'm really, really excited for you, but it's going to be a struggle at first. But yeah, mid-month, you're golden, darling. You are golden. You've got Samhain. You're going to be letting go of the past. You're going to be making peace with the past. You may feel the presence of your ancestors. I mean, you might smell grandma's perfume just out of nowhere. Little random things like that. Your ancestors are still with you. They're guarding and protecting you. They're guiding you. And you would do well to listen. Sometimes it may not always be clear what they're saying. But this is also a harvest time. So you're reaping what you have sown. Like, if you have applied for a job, if you have put forth efforts toward anything, starting to build a house, for example, or whatever it is that you've thrown out to the universe, whatever it is that you've thrown up against the wall hoping something sticks, you're gonna see what sticks, and it's gonna be something awesome. It's gonna be great. Trust that. Trust it. Okay, and then you've got take time to breathe out. The disseminating moon. I think that's pretty. So you're exhaling. You're finally able to breathe. You're finally, like I said up here, finally, just let it all out. You can finally breathe again. You can finally take this sigh of relief, and it's oh my goodness, it's wonderful. You're like, yes, I can finally flip and relax, and I don't need alcohol or drugs to do it. I can just breathe. And that's where you're at, and I'm thrilled, because previously you were so wound up so tight and so on edge you could not relax, and now you can, because you're able to make this transformation, and it's a wonderful thing. I'm really, really excited for you. Then you've got banishment. It says you have the power to banish negative energy and unwanted problems. You can let that stuff go. You can let it go. You don't have to hang on to it any longer. You can, and there's little things you can do to kind of cleanse your home. You can do sage. You can do Santo Palo. I always get that mixed up. Sandalwood. Got my sandalwood incense here that I use for cleansing. Sean with Backseat Productions, that's my husband, he uses Santo Palo, and it's glorious as well. So yeah, just little things like that to kind of, keep the positive in. It's like in with the good air, out with the BS or whatever. You know what I'm saying. let stuff that's holding you down, let it go. Just let it go. It is holding you down, and you are meant to shine. You are meant to rise. Meditation might help. It might help you break free from all this negative that's holding you back and holding you down. So yeah, I think you're on the way to wonderful things. But I want to get a little more clarification on this meditation here. Still your mind and calm your soul. By meditating, you can feel the pulse of nature and the flow of the universe through your body. Slow down and you will hear your gentle wisdom, the quiet whispers which you can only hear when you are quiet and still. And I think if you practice meditation, even if it's just like a minute or two, just take a breath. Going back to this breathing. If you can focus on your breathing for 2 minutes, try to clear your mind and just focus on your breathing, you've meditated. The goal of meditation is to empty your mind, basically. Not many people can do that. It takes practice, but if you can be still and quiet and just breathe, I think you will see fabulous benefits from it. And then last but not least, we have Bob Ross. He's got the Jack of Cups, which is like the Prince of Cups. Jack of Hearts. Jack of Hearts is the same thing as Prince of Cups. So you may be feeling a little bit melancholy. You may feel a sense of grief and loss because, you're letting go of all this yuck from the past, and you're letting it go. And you might get caught up in the nostalgia of it, but you're emerging from it, and you're seeing that you've got positives ahead of you. So don't get too wound up in the past, okay? It says, let's put a few little highlights in here just to make them little rascals just sparkle in the sun. And this talks about focusing on the highlights, focusing on the positives, because that makes everything better. When you focus on positives, it makes the whole picture sparkle, even if it's just little bitty things. And it may be little bitty things at first, and then it becomes bigger and bigger things. And what might be small to you might actually be something much bigger to somebody else. So looks like you're going to have a great month, Group 3. It may be a little bit, emotional, and maybe a little bit got some work to do, but I see wonderful things happening for you. And by the end of the month, I think you're going to be golden. So I wish you all the best. Thank you, Group 3. Bye. Hello, Group 4. So I have a February 2020 prediction for you. And so we'll start with this cute little butterfly charm, right? I love butterflies. They make me happy. So butterflies have to do with transformation, right? Because the caterpillar goes into the cocoon and then comes out as a butterfly, totally transformed from the caterpillar. And so the cool thing about butterflies too is it reminds me of a quote from Nathaniel Hawthorne. He said, "Happiness is like a butterfly that, when pursued, is always just beyond your grasp. But if you'll sit quietly, one may alight upon you." And so that's kind of like whatever it is you're chasing is always going to be just beyond your grasp, and you'll never catch up to it. The more you chase it, the farther it seems to get away from you. If you're chasing squirrels, the squirrels are going to run. If you sit down with some bagels or some snacks or whatever, and you share your snacks with the squirrels, guess what? They're going to come to you. So it's the same kind of principle. Just, get out of chasing mode, get into attracting mode, and you're going to attract so many wonderful things your way, okay? So let's get into this reading. We've got Ace of Wands. I love that card. The Tower. I love that card too, but for different reasons. Rebirth. Pisces, I believe. I like that too. That's so pretty. We got the Fire Drake. You got Full Moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. You've got opportunity. The world is full of opportunities waiting to be discovered. The world is full of opportunities waiting to be discovered. We've got self-esteem and Three of Hearts. So let's get into this. And for some reason, I know I did this a little bit, I read them a little bit differently. Groups 3 and 4, I read a little bit differently than groups 1 and 2. I don't know why, but Spirit guided me to shift the way I was reading them. So I hope you guys don't mind, and I may adjust and let me know in the comments which form you like better. Do you like me doing the 3 tarot cards and then lay these out one at a time and just kind of read as I go, or do you want me to lay them all out at once and then go back and read each one? Let me know in the comments what you want me to do, because it doesn't really matter to me. I was just kind of guided by Spirit to do these this way this time. So, but let me know what you like. All right, so we've got Ace of Wands. So this has to do with new beginnings, and this may be a spiritual awakening for you. This may be, you may find yourself studying a new spiritual path. For some people, that might mean looking into paganism. That might mean studying a little more in depth into Christianity. It may be studying Buddhism. It could be studying Islam. There's so many religions out there, and so. But whatever your spiritual path is, this is saying you're going to have a spiritual awakening, a new beginning spiritually. And so, and it's also a coming together of two sides of something. So you may see 2 different sides of a coin, so to speak, and then formulate your own opinions about what it is that matters about. So this is a very good card, but it's definitely about new beginnings. And then we've got the Tower. Now, some people freak out when they see the Tower. Please don't freak out. I know it looks scary, but it's really not that bad. The thing about the Tower is, yes, there might be some destruction. Yes, there might be the proverbial hurricane coming, right? Which will lead to a spiritual awakening, believe me. But the thing about it is, with the Tower card, yes, there might be some destruction, and yes, things might fall apart, but it's always so that something better can fall together. The Tower is saying, anything that's not built on a good, strong, solid foundation, anything that's not serving you anymore, anything that's not for your highest good, out the door, it's gone. It is gone. So on the one hand, that can be flippin' terrifying, because you may have invested so much time and energy and effort. You may have worked this job for 10 years, and if it's not good for you, the universe has a way of removing that from you so that you can become your higher self, okay? Sometimes you gotta have faith in the universe that they're gonna put you where you'd be surprised. But you're definitely going to be in a situation where something no longer serves you and it is going to be removed from you. At the end of the day, that's a good thing, okay? At the end of the day, that's a good thing. And things that did have a solid, strong foundation, and you'll know if it's solid. If it did have a solid, strong foundation, you're good. You got nothing to worry about. Not a thing to worry about. And then you've got rebirth. So when this thing happens, when this blows over, you're going to reemerge. You're going to answer a calling. You may feel called to teach. You may feel called to the medical profession. You may be called to be a minister. You may feel called to do a number of different things. I feel like you're feeling called to help somebody in some way. That's usually what answering the call is about, is you're being called to a higher purpose. And so whatever that means for you, it's you're putting away the old things that don't serve you anymore, and you're emerging brand new You've got all these ideas and all this creativity, and you're about to flourish. Things are about to just wake up inside you. Also, this is also a card of judgment. So you may find yourself feeling a little bit judgy. But remember, approach everything from love, and it softens things. It makes things better. You don't have to be a harsh, judgmental person, but you can have enough discernment to know, hey, this is not for me anymore. It used to work for me, and now it ain't, so bye. That may be kind of the approach you're taking, okay? It doesn't have to be, this big dramatic, blow up. It can just be, hey, this isn't working for me, so I'm gonna move on to things that are working for me and do support my highest good. All right, and then you got Pisces. So when I saw this card for Pisces, and I love this card, by the way, it says, I believe. And that song, it reminded me of that song by Cher, Do you believe in life after love? And that's what song is playing in my head whenever I see this card. But I want a little bit more clarification on this one. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to read to you what it says about Pisces. So, people who are Pisces are born February 19th to March 20th. Okay? It says, I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depths and a great fear of shallow living. And that was Anais Nin in the four-chambered heart. Anais Nin was also a Pisces. So yeah, Pisces tend to be very deeply emotional. It says, in faith and trust, you must surrender to what is. Pisces, the double fish, is ruled by Neptune, god of the waters, oceans, and seas. It is a mutable sign, its home being the 12th house of self-undoing. It is mysterious and unfathomable, but can indicate a life that needs clarifying as well as definition. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and symbolizes the old soul, one who has passed through many lives, has picked up much here and there, and experienced almost everything along the way, but sometimes doesn't process things well and tends to repeat mistakes. Pisceans have trouble maintaining boundaries, sometimes even feeling half erased. If you have ever observed a Pisces, you may notice they don't appear as intelligent as they really are. You could even call them gullible or vague until they start cranking out works of genius. And they can be so psychically tuned in it'll knock your socks off. Pisces is a beautiful sign with much compassion, denoting true vision that link up with the collective. Those ruled by this sign know much, know it all deep down, but have trouble sorting matters out. They're able to sense deeply, except for certain things extremely bad for them, which turn into mishaps and disasters. But through it all, Pisces still survives. Dreamers, artists, composers, poets, mystics, victims, and prisoners all fall under the rulership of this water sign. There's a little doubt that higher consciousness falls under the domain of Pisces. In a superficial way, it looks as if the world is their oyster with their talent, beauty, sensitivity, and connectedness with the unknown. Pisces sees the best and is an idealist, but the flip side of this is cynicism, which can come in waves. So dreams will lead you now, but clear thinking is a must. You may be extra sensitive to beauty currently. Poetry courses through you. You may be extra sensitive to beauty currently. Poetry courses through you. You feel connected to the source. You like the idea of surrendering to what is. Compassion flows. Take advantage of inspiration and channel it into a creative project. If you have a notion or a dream, swim to it. Capture that wave. A great idea from the past may reemerge and you may want to return and finish it. But you will want to tackle this idea soon when you are inspired, or the entire matter could disappear into the rushes of the deep. About your question, you may be confused by the reactions of others or simply unable to get to the correct answer. Pisces can be like a pristine sea or the muck of a swamp, so getting lost is a danger. Make sure you're not being pulled under by other people's complications. It's even possible you have someone in your life who saps you. Usually this is not intentional, but because of some delusional way of unthinking or viewing the world, that clouds the issue. Don't fall into this same confusion. Make sure you are protected and have the proper boundaries. You may have physical symptoms, but find no reason for them. Be careful when this card comes up, especially in regard to medicine or drugs, because allergies and strange reactions to medications may develop. When the Pisces card is involved, circumstances may be covert or at least obscured from view. And so the Pisces card correlates to the Hanged Man in the tarot, and so it has to do with going with the flow and not letting circumstances so much govern how you react to things, and you can get a different perspective on things as well. Key ideas are compassion, oneness, art, the unconscious, music, water, and being a victim. Careful not to allow yourself to become a victim, okay? It can be easy to do sometimes, especially if you've got a past that you're still healing from, and sometimes it's easy to get into that victim mentality, but you are not a victim. I want you to claim that today. You are not a victim. You own your life, and even if some things have happened to you, you are able to rise above it. And that's my hope and intention for those who need it this month. Also, we've got the Fire Drake. This also has to do with new beginnings. Fire, passion, starting new things. This is related to the Summer Court. This is the Ace of the Summer Court. So aces always have to do with new beginnings. The Fire Drake has to do with fiery passions. It has to do with, if you think about summertime, things are blossoming, things are flourishing. Things that were started are just spreading like wildfire. It's crazy. But the thing is, things can also get out of control really easily too if you're not careful. And so that's why this card came up. Your dreams need a practical plan. And this goes back to being a Pisces. Pisces don't always have the greatest of boundaries. They don't have the most structure. If you are a Pisces or have Pisces in your chart, if you're in a relationship with another Pisces, oh my gosh, it's like the hardest thing in the world for you guys to get out of bed. It's just like, it's almost like you have no direction. So this says, it says your dreams need a practical plan. And this is full moon in Taurus. So you need some of that Taurus energy to keep you grounded, okay? You need a practical plan. If you're starting a new business, for example, like i.e. new beginnings here, if you're starting a new business, you need a good solid business plan. If you're starting a new endeavor, you need structure, you need a plan. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, you need, to do like a schedule or a format for how you're going to do things, but you need to have some kind of structure, otherwise it's going to fall apart, okay? Opportunity. The world is full of opportunities waiting to be discovered. Yes, it is. So, with that being said, you want to be able to seize opportunities. You want to be able to notice opportunities when they arrive, because sometimes when you're in Pisces, you may not, or if you've got some Pisces stuff going on, you may not realize what's really going on. You might be in denial about some things too. So it's important to recognize opportunities when they arise and jump on them if you feel like they're right for you. Go with your gut feeling, go with your intuition. Jump on that opportunity and, discover it. Find out what's really out there for you. You'd be amazed. There's something for everybody. Okay? Everything, there's something for everybody, and what's beautiful to some may be not so great for somebody else, but you know what? That's why they make chocolate and vanilla, right? So then we've got self-esteem. I'm going to refer to my little book of the fairies, Gentle Wisdom of the Fairy Realms, for self-esteem. It seems like it's self-explanatory, but I want a little bit more clarification, okay? Respect and confidence in who you are comes from appreciating your new gifts and talents. This creates a natural flow to one's life. When you develop your self-esteem, people respect you more and the universe appears more generous. So that's like getting out of this victim mentality in a way. Reinforce that self-esteem. Love yourself as you would a small child. For example, Listen to your body. If you're tired, you may need to take a nap. Be good to yourself. Get some exercise, eat healthy foods, do things that you know are good for you and good for your body. If you're in an unhealthy situation, try to reinforce, I gotta do what's good for me. If I do what's good for me, it's gonna attract the right situations, people, places, and things that are in alignment with me. Okay? So respect and confidence in who you are. Respect yourself. I know sometimes that's easier said than done, especially if you've got a past pattern of unhealthy behaviors, but that's how we learn and grow. Sometimes we got to make mistakes. It's okay. We learn and grow from it. That's how you recognize what your opportunities are. That's how you learn to love yourself again, and how you, not necessarily being cocky, but know your self-worth and invest in your self-worth. You will gain the respect of not only yourself, but also your peers. And you'll attract more positive experiences. Okay? And then we've got the Three of Hearts, or the Three of Cups. Party time. That's what Three of Cups is about. Party, celebrations, coming together. It says, we just show you how, but you make the decisions when you have this much power. You have to make big decisions. So, yeah, you've got to make a decision. Sometimes Pisces have a hard time making decisions too. They kind of go back and forth a little bit. So you may find yourself kind of, I don't know what I should do, and then you end up following someone else's lead, and it may not turn out the way you want. But you have the power to make your own decisions, and you decide what you want to do. You have the power and the responsibility to make these big decisions for your life. No one else can do it for you, okay? And when you do, party time, right? All right, so I see good things coming for you. You may, like I said, you may have some challenges around the beginning of the month, but it's one of those things that just kind of has to happen. One of those things, sometimes things got to fall apart so something better can fall together, and I feel like that something better is on its way, okay? So hang in there, enjoy the ride, enjoy the transformation, and enjoy that glow up, as they say. So thank you, Group 4. I hope you have a great month. Bye.